Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Wanderers Way, the official podcast of Bolton Wanderers in association with iHeat. Today's guest needs little introduction. He's a boy who has lived the dream. It brings me great delight to say we're joined by Julian Darby. How's it going, Jules?
Hi, okay.
Yeah, all good?
Yeah, fine, yeah. Just looking forward to the end of the season now, really.
Wanderers Way, the official podcast of Bolton Wanderers Football Club in association with iHeat. Coming up, ball boy as well, of course.
Yeah.
Memories of that?
Yeah, well, I always had the same spot, which is when you see the Frankie Worthy goal. Yeah. That was my spot number 3, which was normally in front of the visiting fans. And there was a time where, just occasionally, well, nearly every home game actually, there was a pitch invasion. It was a time when everything was going on, and they have fences up, they just jumped over the fence. And so I was looking for cover and staying out of the way because I was 11, 12 years old, and Norm had been wearing a bright yellow tracksuit with Cumbrian soft drinks on the back, which we had. So I stayed out of the way as much as I can, but no, it was great. It was fantastic doing the first team, but if you want to do the first team, we had to turn up for the reserves as well, which wasn't quite so exciting because there was about 3 men and a dog on at the same time, and we ended up throwing stones at each other and things like that, just to while time away a little bit. Yeah. So that picture of me and Bobby on the pitch after Huddersfield, it gets me all the time. That
gets me, Julian. Never mind you. I mean, it was absolutely.
I'm going again.
So proud.
Yeah.
I mean, it just that's the icing on the cake for me.
Oh yeah, for me as well. That was walking around here on my home, and everyone's singing. You know the song, He's One of Our Own. Yeah. Brilliant.
See, when you left then, Jules, were you sad to leave? It's your boy
in a way, yeah. Listen, whenever we didn't have a game or anything, I always came back. Mm-hmm. I always came back because it was my club, my team. Flipping, how did the Super Whites go on? That's what you say at the end of the, in the dressing room. How did the Super Whites go on?
Yeah.
Everyone's, who's the Super Whites? Hang on a minute. Yeah. You know the Super Whites, like Bolton Wanderers.
Wanderers Way, the official podcast of Bolton Wanderers Football Club in association with iHeat. You've been busy, haven't you?
Oh, yes, very busy. It's been a fantastic season, really, in more ways than one. I'm just waiting for the season to end now with my under-18s boys. It's been well publicised that they won some silverware last week.
Yep.
Fair play to them, they deserved it. They've been excellent all season, and we've just got the league to finish now, and we just need to go and finish the job off because we're just sat at the top at the minute. We've got still got 6 games to go. Mm-hmm. Probably need 3 wins from those 6 games to win the league as well.
Yeah, absolutely flying, aren't you, John?
That will be the icing on the cake, won't it? As you say, to a fantastic season.
Yeah. At the end of the day, the league's the main important. That's bread and butter. You got your cups, which is a little fluffy bit on the side, which is nice to go and win. But the league's the one. It's a year-long thing, so it shows that the progression. The lads were winning at the beginning of the season, they were winning in the middle of the season, and they win at the end of the season. So it shows a good progression for the lads as well.
And a good group overall.
Yeah, no, they've been excellent. I can't speak highly of enough. The first years and the second years, especially the second years. Obviously, they're the 17, 18-year-olds, so they were here last year, and we had a decent group last year. And we finished 3rd last year. Got to the final of the Lancashire Youth Cup, which we won last week. But wanted to go a little bit further this year, and say we've had that victory last week, and hopefully we continue the progress and we finish the job off in the league.
You say it's a good group. Any high hopes for any individuals?
Yeah, it's hard at the minute to name and pigeonhole people. At the end of the day, you got to remember they're 17, 18 years old. But as a group, I'm looking at them. There's no one in there thinking. But there's good players. They know the job. They've got a winning mentality. Talented. And as soon as you put that white shirt on with the badge, they go out there and give what you've got.
Good.
It's important at that age, I guess, 17, sort of 18-year-old Jules, what is it? They need to make that next step, don't you? Push on to the first team,
I wish I knew, because I'd work more on that. But a lot of it's mentality.
Yeah.
Listen, the good players, or else they wouldn't be here in the first place. But I think that mentality is to go from a schoolboy to a scholar, and then from a scholar to a professional, and have a chance of playing on here. I think that's just that little mentality that just gets over the line a little bit. And sometimes it can just separate the ones who don't quite make it from the ones who are yes, he's got a fantastic attitude, wants to be a winner, wants to play. Will he look for a nearest hole to dive in if you actually got onto the pitch? No, he go and express himself and go and play.
Someone, you've done that obviously, so it must be passed on that wisdom to the young kids.
I was fortunate enough to do that. I think it was 40 years ago this year that I actually joined as an apprentice. Wow. Changed an awful lot since then with some of the things we had to do. I remember one of the early ones was I think that the players were all sponsored by Pony, but they didn't want to wear Pony shoes, boots. So Friday, part of our job was to put blacking on the if they were Adidas on the 3 stripes, and we had to paint a little pony stripe on the boots that they had to go out on Saturday. So that was just a strange thing that we had to do as an apprentice.
See, when you think back to when you were an apprentice, I mean, you obviously had jobs, chores to do. Do you miss that? Do you think it's...
I think it's a fantastic grounding. Yeah, I think it'd be great for the kids, it really is. So I'm a bit of a cleanaholic at home now. I'm forever flipping brushing the floor and things like that. It just comes from what you've done earlier. I don't like mess, but that comes from, at the time, Walter Joyce, who was in my first year as an apprentice. Every Friday, when you say, right, we've done our jobs, can we all go home now? We get the white glove on, and he'd go along the ledges. No, when that's clean, you can go home. So it's...
Standards.
Yes, totally. Standards. It's a job worth doing. It's worth doing well. When you're mopping the floor and you're cleaning boots and you're sweeping terraces and you're printing tickets out. So you just get on with it and do it to your best ability.
It's good grounding for the boys, isn't it?
Fantastic. And I just wish to do that again, even just the cleaning the boots.
Yeah.
It's really only this year that they've not actually done that, because the lads like to do it, because at Christmas, end of the year, the lads have sorted them out. So we give them a little bit of a bonus at Christmas and then at the end of the season. But this year, for whatever reason, they're not doing it, and the 2 kit men are doing it instead. Are the lads that bothered? No, but I'd wish they were doing it, because it gives them a bit of a more responsibility as well.
Well, that, and I think they look up to first team players, don't they, as well? So they get that link,
totally,
between them.
What we don't need the first team over there in that dressing room.
No.
The B team over there, and you got the youth team over here, and there's no interaction. They don't know each other's names. No, and I say to them, listen, you go past the manager, you go past the first team players, whatever. Just say hello. No, just get your head down and walk past them. No, we're all here to work together.
Exactly.
Get a smile on your face and say hello, good morning, or whatever, or even have a little bit of banter if you can. It'd be great.
Before joining, were you a kid in the terraces, Julian? Before that?
Yeah, I was. Used to go in the Manchester Road terrace next to the Lever End. No, brilliant. I remember, when you're that young, the football, you don't really understand what the hell's going on. So I was running around collecting plastic cups. All the people have had a pint and just throw the cup on the floor. So let's see who can build the biggest tower with plastic
I still
cups.
do that. I see
it's
that.
Just some of the things you do. I remember when do we play Everton in the League Cup semi-final? There was 50,000 on that day. I think it was 77, 78 or something like that. And that's the only time I've ever seen the place, Burnden, the old Burnden before Normid. That was an absolute sellout. And it was a fantastic day. We've been to Goodison a couple of weeks before and got a great 1-1 draw. And then they came back to Burnden, and I took a little box to stand on. And it's a good job I did, because it was absolutely heaving. But it was what an atmosphere! 50,000 people on at Burnden Park. It was brilliant.
Ball boy as well, of course. Memories of that.
Yeah, well, I always had the same spot, which is when you see the Frankie Worthy goal. Yeah. That was my spot number 3, which was normally in front of the visiting fans. And there was a time where, just occasionally, well, nearly every home game actually, there was a pitch invasion. It was a time when everything was going on, and they have fences up. They just jumped over the fence, and so I was ducking for cover and staying out of the way, because I was 11, 12 years old, and Norm had been wearing a bright yellow tracksuit with Cumbrian soft drinks on the back, which we had. So I stayed out of the way as much as I can. But no, it was great. It was fantastic doing the first team, but if you want to do the first team, we had to turn up for the reserves as well, which wasn't quite so exciting, because there was about 3 men and a dog on at the same time, and we ended up throwing stones at each other and things like that. Just things just to while time away a little bit. But it was great.
You done ball boying stuff, John? No,
I've never had the privilege. Yeah. Never ever. But no, it's. I mean, when you look at it, you must. I just think it adds to your story. Do you know when the Frankie Worthington's goal? And you're there jumping up and down, and you can see you playing his day on the video. I think it's just
who'd have believed that?
It's
all
fantastic.
Those years ago, was it? I think was it 78 or something like that. All those years later, well, I'm at the other end of it all, and
you're in the dugout.
That's brilliant. But that's football. End of the day,
it's just honestly, it's just a fantastic story. It is. It's rather over stuff, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
there's another game. I think it was Sunderland. But I think Big Sam scored a fantastic
header.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Well, we got there and they closed the turnstiles. The gates were shut, so we couldn't get in. And so we went home. We were waiting for kick off with Gerald Sinstadt on a Sunday. So we watched actually watched the game on the Sunday. But before that, one of my brother's mates. We'd been round to his house, and he said, "Oh, look at this!" And he got an actual, just a piece of mud with some grass on the top. He said, "Oh, that's Burnden Park." So what they'd done, they'd opened the gates because it was chocker, and all the young kids could sit on the banking at Burnden. Yeah. So they went on there, and they were all like getting clumps of grass, and they were putting in a little, like a display cabinet type thing. Oh, look. Flipping Burnden Park, a piece of Burnden Park there, and eventually go in the garden at the back. But I was so envious. How have they got a flipping bit of Burnden Park? Oh, that's brilliant. Listen, when you see it now, it's just all mud. But on the bankings it was just grass, but just to have a bit of Burnden Park.
That was brilliant.
The thing. Must have been a proud moment when you signed your professional contract as well, Julian. Can you remember that at all?
Well, when I came into the club, I was lucky enough to play for England schoolboys.
Yeah. So
I got a 2-year apprenticeship, and I got a year's professional as well. So I knew that was coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. I say my first year as an apprentice. Well, my first year and a bit, the penny didn't click. It just didn't. It didn't. I would say I wasn't struggling. I was doing okay as a midfield player, and then in my second year, for a game, they stuck us back at centre half, and it just clicked. And confidence grew, and then after that, it was that year that I actually made my debut as well in my second year apprentice against Blackpool at Burnden. I think it was Easter Monday, so it was around this time.
Yeah. Can you remember it much?
Remember it snowing. I'm sure it was snowing. I was playing against a guy, I think it was called Alex Dyer, and I was playing it right back. I think they played at Wigan on the Good Friday, and I can't think who was right back. It might have been Phil Neal or Derek Scott at the time. They were injured, and Phil Neal chucked us in on the Monday. Fantastic, it was brilliant. Local derby as well.
Yeah.
And I'd done all right. You say, listen, you sink or you swim.
Yeah.
And I swam at the time. So that was great to make my debut. And then the last game of the season as well, I think we played Bristol City. I think we got absolutely humped 4-0, like we always do against Bristol City. But that was my second appearance. So that was good to play as an apprentice, as a 18-year-old in the first team. Was always, there was two of us. There was like old Mark Winstanley, who was apprentice with us as well. So me and Beef both played. So it was good that that at the time there wasn't a lot of money around at Bolton, and they had to chuck the kids in. Steve Thompson was playing at the time. Warren Joyce, Simon Rudge, Steve Sturridge, Jimmy Phillips, all these were coming through the ranks, playing for the first team, and I had to get in there and just get on with it.
Yeah, take your chance. Was it the older pros? Did they help you, young boys?
Yeah, no, I think they always do. I think they always do. That there's no bad eggs in there, and I think they're always really respectful of kids when they come in. That they they want them to success, because in the day they were in their position a few years before. So no, everyone's been terrific. I can't really say there's never been a bad egg that I've met in football. I thought he's horrible. No, everyone's helped as much as they can. Which in a way, I like to think that I tried to help as much as I can when I was at the other end of my career. Now as a coach and what have you. So let's try and help these kids on best we can.
Do you think coming into the team, being a local lad, was a bit more pressure on you?
Yeah, I did feel it. listen, proud as punch for myself, family, and everyone concerned, because they're all Bolton supporters. But yeah, I was probably a bit too close thinking about it. Whether your life revolved on whether you won or lost. If we lost, didn't go out, just stayed in.
Yeah.
Wouldn't dare go out. If we won, I could go out then. So there was that about it. No, but a lot of pressure. Probably the least pressure felt was probably when I was at Preston, right at the end of my career, and we're about that half hour away from Preston. It was just that far enough out of the way.
Just a release that you can you're going back to the family and I can relax.
Yeah. I mean, you don't read I think it's the Lancashire Evening Post they have over there, so you didn't read that. There was no one around where I lived who was a Preston fan, so you didn't get any. We're not talking about work all the time.
Yeah.
But at Bolton, I just couldn't get away from it. So in the good times, it was great, but in the bad times, it was horrible.
Yeah. Get that.
Yeah.
No social media back then.
Oh, thank God for that. Yeah. Oh wow. Oh wow. No, everything was newspaper.
Yeah.
And sometimes the Bolton even used the reporter at times, Gordon Sharrock.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, Gordon.
He was.
But sometimes I wish I'd come to a Monday and they put scores in the paper. I'm thinking, God, any chance to give me a 6 or a 7? He was giving me a 5 every week. Just give us a break. Because all the punters jump on that. All the supporters jump on that. Even though they haven't been to the away game or whatever. And so, Darby's got a 5 again. He's Gordon, give us a break. Give us a 6. Give us a 6.5. Give us a 5.5. Never mind a 5. Because it does put pressure on you.
Yeah.
It does put pressure on you. But now the social media, oh my God. I've had the reverse of that now. After my week of what happened, which is...
Blew up, didn't it?
Oh, wow. It was... Is it called going viral? Listen, I don't know about this. I have Facebook, but I don't know how it all works. All I do is I look and see what people are doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you post or something?
Yeah.
I don't got a clue. I don't know. I'm too old for all that. But it's just... I'm glad for my kids and family that they can all see that now.
Yeah.
So that picture of me and Bobby on the pitch after Huddersfield, it gets me all the time. That
gets me, Julian. Never mind you. I mean, it was
I'm going
absolutely
again.
so proud.
Yeah.
I mean, it just that's the icing on the cake for me.
Oh yeah, for me as well. That was walking around here on my home, and everyone's singing, the song. He's one of our own.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But I didn't expect the Huddersfield thing, to be honest. You go into Huddersfield 16 unbeaten. They just bought Dion for 750 grand or whatever it was. They bought the lad from Luton for $1.5 million or something like that. You're thinking, blimey, here we go. We've just been beaten by Charlton on the Tuesday. You're thinking, oh blimey, what I don't know what I'm going to get from the lads here. What they're going to do? It could have gone either way, because no manager. And coming off a defeat as well, and you go into a side who are flying. So I didn't really know what to expect. And then to go in there and for them to perform like they did, and the reaction from the supporters.
Incredible.
Phenomenal, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a joy to be there.
I can't thank them enough. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah. We'll talk that more in detail shortly. Phil Neal, you mentioned there, Jules. How big an influence was he?
Oh, huge. Listen, he's one of the best I've played with as well. He was a good player. When he was at Liverpool, I thought, Phil Neal. But at the time, you had all the big stars playing, but he did the simple things really, really well. Good player. Read everything. You can see why he played. I think it was 52 times for England or whatever it was when he. I think he was the leading winner of the Football League. He'd won some 12 championship medals or something like that. You can see why. He was very good at his job, and I got along with him really well. I was a first year apprentice when he came in.
Yeah.
Actually came in when John McGovern was manager, and then Charlie Wright took over for a little while. Then they brought Phil in, and he was the one to give me my chance. And I always got on well with him. Really respectful. Liked him a lot. I've got a lot to thank him for what he did for me. And then I was lucky enough that when Bruce came in here, and obviously Phil moved on, Phil managed to go to Coventry, who were in the Premier League, and he was number 2 to Bobby Gould at the time. and Bruce was in here. I was out of contract, and it was different then because there was no Bosman.
Yeah.
So if you're out of contract, you couldn't just go. No, you had to agree a fee with someone. So I was out of contract. Felt the problem of time was up here after what went on. Felt so I needed a move, and luckily enough, Bobby Gould left in the, I think it was the October
time, yeah.
October, and they put Phil in charge, and Phil took us in there virtually straight away.
Yeah.
And it was just an opportunity to play in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Did I think I'd ever do that? No. Is it a fantastic place to play? Yes. It was. Listen, it was great.
Yeah.
You turn up at stadiums every week, and everything's a full house, and the publicity and television cameras are always stuck in your face, and everything, and just the notoriety and everything that you get from playing in the Premier League was great, really. So I'd say I was very fortunate. Don't get me wrong. I had a couple of years playing in the Premiership. And that first year that I was there, we actually, it never used to be Sky and all that. You used to look at CFAX to see where you were in the league.
Those were the days, huh?
Yeah.
And it was great because we finished on the first page of CFAX that first year. We had a great run at the end of the season.
Finished 11th that first season, didn't you? I think mid-table.
Yeah, I think we finished about 9th or 10th.
Yeah.
So we finished in the top half, and we had a fantastic run at the end. End of the season, and we were on the Sky. We were the Monday night game playing Blackburn. It was a year before Blackburn actually won it, so it would have been about 93, 94,
yeah.
I don't know, something like that. And so we had Shearer and So and Flowers and Colin Hendry and all these were playing, and they had to win to keep it going to the end of the last game of the season. Otherwise, United won the league. So they came to Coventry, and we turned them over 2-1. And I scored the 2 goals, fortunately enough, from somewhere. So
scored a few
that
goals
was
that
great.
season, didn't you? You scored a few goals that season.
Yeah, 5 or 6 goals. Yeah. From when did I get in? I probably made my debut against United actually, against Paul Ince. I think that was the November, December time.
Yeah.
So I managed to get 5 or 6 goals that season. Our last game of the season was United at Old Trafford. So we had to do the old, the Guard of Honour and all that.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
That's the worst feeling. That must be the worst feeling ever.
No, so we did that. They did get a Guard of Honour, and we drew 0-0. It was party time because we'd already just won the league on the Monday before. So all the flags were out, and there's a little story. The number of letters I got from Man United supporters was incredible because I never got letters or anything. So I got a bag full delivered to the training ground at Coventry, and then at the end of the season we went on a end of season. It was like a little tournament thing. So there was us, there was Coventry, Portsmouth, the team where Howard Kendall was at the time. It was called Skoda Xanthi and Panathinaikos in a little competition.
Round robin tournament.
Yeah. So just warming up. I think we were playing Panathinaikos first game. Just warming up, and these 2 young lads on the side beckoned us over. So I went over, and they said, "Oh, there you go, that's for you." And they handed me a gift. I said, "What's this for?" They said, "Oh, we are from the Athens branch of the Manchester United fan club. We've just come down here. We've been sat on the train for 8 hours, but we felt as though we had to come and give you something for winning us the league." And I thought, wow. Flipping, that's unbelievable. It was just some Turkish delights at the end of the day, but the actual thought of them sat on a train for 8 hours just to bring us a gift for winning the league was incredible, really.
Just shows you the power of the Premier League.
Oh, totally. And football in general.
Yeah, in football.
Football's, everything revolves around football.
Absolutely.
It's like when you go on holiday, it's tribal. Oh, what tribe are you from? I'm from Bolton tribe. You got a Bolton shirt on.
Yeah.
You're from the United tribe. Oh, there you got the United shirt on. They're normally from London though, aren't they? They're normally all the Cockneys with the United shirt on.
Um,
At Bolton, the Sherpa Van Trophy final, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, yeah.
What a day that was down at Wembley.
Yeah, it was like today.
Yeah.
It was. Listen, Wembley. It was absolutely roasting. It was a beautiful day. It was about the 28th of May or something like that, or 31st. It was right at the end of the May. It was boiling. We'd gone down on I think it was a Thursday. We'd had a training session there. We all stayed at the same hotel in Gerrards Cross. We found a little training ground to train on. Phil Garside and Brett Warburton went down and helped us train the second day. They joined in training, which relieved the pressure. You know, just a little bit of fun seeing them run around. So that was good fun. And then the actual day itself. Well, I think we were coming on a fantastic run at the end of the season. We'd done something like 18, 19 games unbeaten, which was crazy, really. So we went there, and lo and behold, we go 1-0 down after about 19, 20 minutes. So you're thinking, right, we've got to try and score as quick as we can here just to get back into the swing of things. Unfortunately enough, a corner came in and I swiveled and hit the ball home. So to score at Wembley was just like, oh God, fantastic. I would say I was lucky enough to play for England schoolboys, and we had a couple of games at Wembley.
Right, okay, yeah.
But I was on the bench both times. I got on in the second game against Scotland, but no, that was so I'd actually been on Wembley before, but the actual score at Wembley was absolutely brilliant. So that goes back to 1-1. I think it was 1-1 at half time, and then we came out second half. We just steamrolled them second half. Dean Crombie scored it. Well, what he was doing up there, I don't know. He's playing centre half, and in that next minute he's on a counter attack, and silly old bugger's up front. Get back! What are you doing? And he goes and just dinks the goalkeeper, and that's that. And then Jeff Chandler scores, and then Trevor Morgan scores, and it ends up 4-1. It was just after what the club had been through, because we've been there. I think it was 3 years earlier. We got stuffed by Bristol City. As we always do, like I keep saying, they're one of our bogey teams, Bristol City. So we got beat by them. But after what the club had gone through, it was fantastic to get to Wembley, and it was the old Wembley at the time, so people were stood up, and there was flat caps, and there was no pigs, these inflatables. It was time when inflatables were there, and we just had the supermarket built on side of the stadium, and everyone had these no pig things at the time. But it was brilliant.
Yeah. See that old Wembley, of course, the big walk to the pitch. Well, you know that as well, walking onto the pitch.
You walk up a tunnel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And the thing is, you couldn't barely hear noise, but when you reach the top of that tunnel,
that's the Bolton end. That was the Bolton. That was like the lucky end. Yeah.
Oh.
Then you walk over it's like a sand pit, wasn't it? Over, and then you go and line up in front of the Royal Box, and you. I think on the day it was. Elton John was the guest of honour, so I shook him by the hand. Elton John, wow, Elton John. So that was a great experience and a great day. I don't know whether I had dehydration or whether I got knocked to the head, but I had to miss the night do as well because I was all over the place at night. I don't know. Trust me, Mrs. wasn't very happy because she had to sit in with us, and I got a new tie for the event as well. So never mind. So we was just sat in our room watching the television while everyone was downstairs and enjoying themselves.
Yeah, not many people can say they've scored at Wembley. Did you know what to do when you'd seen the ball hit the back of the net? Must have been up there as well.
Not really, no. It's a bit like, you remember when John, when we got promoted in 93. We scored against Stoke. I didn't know what the hell to do. I thought, right, I'm going to dive here, but it was bone hard, and I just bounced. I tried to dive. I thought, what am I doing? There was another time. I can't remember who we played against, but I scored. And at the time, Paul Gascoigne had done this silly little dance over the touchline. And I thought, right, I'll do a little bit of that. And I don't know why I did it. You just score a goal. And it's just a fantastic feeling. You're just going to do what you got to do. Yeah. You're going to do what you're going to do. But it's good. Well, you know about that, John, anyway. I've looked at the number of goals you scored.
I was going to come on to that, I mean, that season when how important was that? When you think about it, and then going back to you made your debut on Easter Monday. Easter Monday, Andy Walker gets injured. Playing against Swansea, Des Little, halved them right on the halfway line. Did his cruciate, and it was all doom and gloom. Andy, main guy, scoring all the goals, and we were pushing, and we had to basically win out, didn't we?
Yeah.
For promotion.
Yeah.
And we're all thinking that's it. That's our promotion out the window. And who steps up?
I think Bruce put Greenie in first. I think we played at Bradford or something like that, and I think Scott Green played up front. I remember. I'm not sure whether we drew that game. That was probably one of the only games we didn't win. But I remember coming in. I think it was 0-0 something like that. I remember coming in at the end of the game, and I'm just I was in the stand or I was on the bench. I can't remember. And Bruce coming in and saying to Greenie, saying, "Listen, your striker, how many shots did you have today?" And he went, "None." And Bruce, listen, so simple. How are you going to score a goal? Flipping your striker. How are you going to score a goal if you don't shoot?
Exactly.
And that just, the simple things stick in your head. And it was the game after that. We went down to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I think that was a Monday game as well for some reason. I think Monday or a Tuesday, and the whole of Bolton had gone down again. And the day before we trained on the Sunday on Burnden, and Toddy had come over to us and said, "Listen, you're playing tomorrow." And I thought, right, okay. And I felt up for it. I felt ready for it because I'd had, when was it? About October, November. I'd been captain. Then I'd tore my groin, and I came back and it wasn't right, so I was out again. I missed White Hot.
Yeah.
And everything that was going on. Fair play to Jason. Jason McAteer came in and he never looked back. He was a good player. He was an excellent player. So I'm thinking, right, I'm struggling to get here in midfield, so anywhere will do. And when Toddy said, like, you're starting up front, I went, okay, right, fair enough, good. Bring it on. I think there was 4 games to go, and we needed to win all 4 to go up, didn't we?
Yeah.
So went out to Bournemouth. I scored, and then I think they equalised, and then Brownie scored late on in the game, and pitch invasion, and then so 1-2-1, and then the next game was the Friday night at Hull. That's one I'll never forget. Wow.
Incredible.
Do you remember that? Well, you can't forget that because you scored the 2 goals.
Incredible night. I mean, it was, as you said,
the whole of Bolton.
How many pitch invasions was that?
I was just hoping that the game didn't get cancelled. It was like, whoa, hang on a minute, flipping and get the game cancelled. We're winning here, flipping get off the pitch.
A couple of times the referee went over, called the police and all,
really?
didn't they? And it was close to, it must have been really, and one of their players in one of the pitch invasions, where they got everybody back off the pitch, and then you turn round, their left back's lying on the floor.
Yeah.
Somebody's chinned them like.
Jesus. No, well, the whole of Bolton were there, and because it was Friday, they're flipping having a good weekend, aren't they? So they'd all been out, because when you came on, they're all coming over, yeah, you're thinking, God, you've had a good day, flipping. You can smell the beer.
No eyebrows left.
Yeah. So, but brilliant, and he scored the 2 late goals. We were 1 down. In fact, it was Stubbsy got sent off
just before half time.
He did a great save. So I went from centre forward to centre half.
Yep.
And then, remember, Berkey was involved. David Burke, wasn't he, in your goals? I'm sure he was.
Berkey played the ball in, didn't he? Or did he have a shot?
Yeah, I think it's shot. You just
went
and tapped it in. Yeah. So that took us into the top 2. We were just behind Stoke, and again the Monday after we had Stoke at home. Stoke were already promoted, and it was between us and Port Vale.
Yeah.
Now Port Vale are Stoke's big adversaries, so actually I think Stoke were quite happy that we won. But again, that was virtually a full house again at Burnden, and we won 1-0, and I got the goal. I think Zico Kelly passed it to us, and I just managed to hit the ball in the corner. That's when I tried to do the slide, but it didn't work off.
The rock hard pitch.
Yeah, the rock hard pitch. So we won that 1-0. It went to the last game of the season, didn't it, on the Saturday at Burnden. Full house. Preston. And Preston came, and we had to win to go up, and they had to win to stay up. And so it was a nervy one. It was a nervy one, but your man over there, 10 minutes to go, we get a penalty, and nerves of steel, he took the ball away.
We were rubbish on the day, weren't we?
Yeah, we were bang average, yeah.
And they were worse.
Yeah.
They had
pressure maybe of the game.
Honest to God, they never come into our half. They just had 10 men, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like basically 2 banks of 5, and that was it.
But I'm sure there was 3 or 4 of their lads from Bolton.
Yeah.
They were Bolton lads.
Well, the goalkeeper, Simon Farmer.
They had threats and everything before, and it was like, full goal. Blimey. So yeah, Simon Farmer was in goal, yeah, Farmer was in goal. And I think the lad who gave the penalty away, I think he was a Bolton boy. So
I'm not so sure. It's this day. I don't think it was a penalty.
Well, don't say that. You can't say that.
Digy's gone down the right hand side, went to cross it, and the boys kind of let into it,
yeah,
but it wasn't like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And anyway, penalty. There you go. And that was it.
Yeah.
But it shows how important it was, you know. And I think going back to yourself, Julie, not to blow smoke, but it showed you how important you were to the team, because you could have put you on at the back, you could have put you on the midfield, you could put you on up front, and you would do the business. So I mean, you were invaluable from that point of view, where go anywhere.
Yeah, well, I played anywhere but goalkeeper. I mean, you got to be. Oh, you play goalkeeper, didn't you?
You beat you on that one.
There you go. Everything here, John. But listen, you got to be a bit of a lunatic, be a goalkeeper. I'm not that much of a lunatic, but I played everywhere else in my career, so that's what probably stood me in good stead to be a coach, especially with young kids, because each position wise, I should know what's expected from that position, because I played there myself.
You're seeing it through different eyes,
certainly, yeah.
And you know what's expected.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's different. That's where I still don't believe you get a goalkeeping coach, you get a throwing coach, a set piece coach, there's not really striker coaches, is there? There's not a lot about.
No.
And it's, for me, it's the most important area of the pitch.
You're
winning games.
Well, Tuesday showed you that.
Tuesday showed you that.
Yeah.
I mean, the chances that we created, you failed to put it in the back of the net, but it's a specialised position, and
Certainly
I think
is,
it's a tough one. It's the hardest thing to do, in it, put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, yeah, it is, certainly. I say that wins lose you the games normally. No, maybe one to think about that. I think there are some about though. I'm sure there's one.
Oh, there are, but it's not as.
No, we had Cameron on a few weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah, we had Cameron Jerome on,
right,
and Cameron obviously.
He's been there since he's done it.
He's
played. Where's it? 500, 600 league games.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's on about.
Yeah. Got so much knowledge to pass on.
Yeah, totally.
The runs, just the movement and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
like you said, different eyes.
Yeah,
small margins. What was Burnden Park like to play?
It was filthy, old, but it was Burnden Park. It was brilliant. It's just
home.
Yeah, it was old. It just. Even when we cleaned it, we swept it, we mopped it, we did all the ledges and everything, but it still looked dirty. But it was Burnden Park. It was great.
Special.
It was just just the smell of the place as well. I was when I was young, my dad used to count the money in the office from the turnstile. He was in banking and all that, so that was his job. He went in and he counted the money and sorted all that out. So I go down early with him to get everything organised, and so I was lucky enough to go stand in the tunnel, and it was just a tunnel with like a bit off the side where all the dressing rooms were and all that. And that's all it was, a tunnel, wasn't it? But I used to stand in there and watch all these players, Frankie Worthy with his little tie and his Cowie boots and all that, and just see them all, Big Sam, Reedy and Nico. See Nico now. He does all the hospitality. See all these players come in, and it was really, really good times, because these are your icons, these are your heroes, and you stood just like a yard or two away from them, and you listen to them talk and all that. That was brilliant.
Yeah. Do you miss Burnden playing there, John?
Without doubt. I mean, as Julian said, it's a special place. It was falling down, if you're honest. It was every year they had to, they had to stick in plasters, really. What I mean? But it was just, and especially in a midweek cup night or a floodlight night. You know what I mean? It was just a place. It was just indescribable, really. Yeah. Nobody really fancied coming there, did they?
No. Well, because it was just like. But then you had the embankment end at the end, this big open end. Yeah. And if that was full, I saw it for the Everton game, and it was fantastic. And at the top, trains used to come across the top, and then there was a big, massive scoreboard right in the middle. And at half time, you're looking to see all the scores. It was just a magical place, really. We used to train there as well. We used to have an AstroTurf pitch around the back of Burnden, so that used to be our training ground for most of the time. I playing little five-a-sides on an AstroTurf, and that was it for training most of the time.
Yeah, it's changed days now, isn't it? I mean, look at that bowling green out there.
That's
the parks you played on back there.
Backdrop we've got here. How lucky is that? Let's say I wish my back garden was like that. I like to get them stripes in my garden.
Yeah.
But that goes to show you, just what you've said there, you struggle to get your garden looking as good as that. You imagine the guys every week running about on that with studs on, ripping it up, and yet, look at it. Absolutely, what a job these boys do.
Yeah, brilliant. And so when the sun's out like this, and it's like end of season, and yet there's no mud patch, it's just all grass.
Every time you look at it, you just want to go out and have a kick.
You do. Oh God, what a backdrop! What a backdrop that is.
That's sensational. See, when you left then, Jules, were you sad to leave? It's your boy.
In a way, yeah. Listen, whenever we didn't have a game or anything, I always came back. I always came back because it was my club, my team. Flipping, how did the Super Whites go on? That's what you say at the end of the, in the dressing room. How did the Super Whites go on? Yeah. Everyone's, who's the Super Whites? Hang on a minute. You know the Super Whites, like Bolton Wanderers. No, so whenever I was in between jobs as a coach as well, I'd always come back and maybe try and help out in the academy. Jimmy Phillips was the academy manager at the time, so I'd come back and he'd say, yeah, go with the 16s or go and help with the 15s or something like that. So he was always good that way, Jimmy. Just kept me involved really, because when we're out of a job, it's the mental side was bananas. They say we lost when I was at Derby. We got Derby promoted in a year to the Premier League in the playoff final in whatever it was, 2007 or something. We knew what was going on. We eventually left Derby the following November, and it was 13 months before we got back in. Now 13 months is a long time. You're thinking, oh God, we just got promoted to the Premier League. Normally flipping straight back in.
Yeah.
13 months you're thinking, in that 13 months you're thinking, oh God, we're not getting anything here. And by the way, you're thinking, you see your money that you've got, and listen, you got whatever is 3-6 months termination, and then 13 months later you're thinking, where's all that money gone?
Yeah.
Gone. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
So that's hard, the mental side of that. So it was great that I could come over and just help out, but just passing the day, having nothing to look forward to. There's no, we've got to go work today, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. No, it was like, right, I'll go to the gym, right, I'll go to Trafford Centre and have a coffee. And then I go home. And that was my routine every day, and I had no purpose into what I was doing.
Just see then, and sorry Julian, that was under Billy Davies obviously.
Yeah.
Is it a case of being loyal and waiting for him to get another job?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Or you looking for a job yourself?
Bit of both really. Listen, he was probably the four best managers I worked with or under. Obviously, I mentioned Phil Neal because he was always great with me.
Yeah.
And then you got the three Scots. You got Bruce, who, well, I said you got Bruce. You got David Moyes when he was at Preston, and you got Billy. To be fair, I thought Billy was probably the best of the lot. He was the best of the lot. He was terrific.
What made
he
him
was
good?
excellent.
I think you
All of them had that edge to them. When you come in the end of the game, you're thinking, well, you have to give everything you got, otherwise you're going to get pinned. Do you remember when we played Tranmere Rovers in the Anglo-Italian?
Yep.
And I think we'd just been promoted. There's about 6, 7, 8 new signings coming. Your Alan Thompsons, you had Steve Fulton, Jimmy Phillips came back, Ian Davison was in goal, and we played at Tranmere, and we weren't very good. But we managed to win. John scored again. I'm sure you scored.
Did we win 2-1?
It might have been. It's either 1-0 or 2-1. There's one goal in it. Yeah. But we won. But at the end of the game, you're thinking, yes, we've won. Here we go. We're okay here. And Bruce come in. And it's like, you're on the list. You're on the list. You're all right. Yeah, that's okay. Go all right. Yeah. You're on the list. And he pulled to Steve Fulton. We just paid something like 250 grand on him, haven't we?
Yeah. 310 grand.
And I don't think he played for the club. He pinned him because I think he'd taken Alan Thompson to the flipping nightclub. Yeah. Because they were both staying in the hotel, the Holiday Inn. He'd taken him to, what was it, Icon at the time, or Ritz's, whatever it was called at the time.
Ritz's, I think, Julian. Yeah.
Was it Ritz's at the time? And obviously, listen, as a football manager, you always find out. There's people telling you everything from all over the place. So you couldn't do that. And he pinned him. And I don't think he ever played for the club. We bought him for all that money. He never played for the club. But Bruce was going around. He was sticking everyone on the list. And there was, I think it was Jimmy, me, you, and Aidan Davison, the goalkeeper, who were okay. Everyone else, that was it. And everyone's gone, wow. Yeah. And straight away he laid down the law, Bruce. Yeah. And I can see now after you think back, think right. There you go. Everyone, all the best managers, you have to play on the edge. Listen, Billy did that at. We played Leicester when he was at Forest, and he's saying it now in Billy's podcast and all that. But Wes Morgan was our captain at Forest, and I think that might have been an Easter Monday, something like that. And we were losing 1-0 at half time, and we were bang average and just weren't at it. And half time comes, instead of walking towards the tunnel and into the dressing room, Billy walks onto the pitch, and he goes and says something to Wes Morgan. And so we go in the dressing room, and team talk starts, and then all of a sudden he goes over to Wes and gets in Wes's face, and he's sticking his finger in Wes. Like, Bill is this big, and Wes Morgan's a bit of a he's a beast. And Wes stands up and looks down at Billy, and they're having a go, and everyone jumps up and pulls them apart and all that, and Billy storms off out, and everyone counts with, and everyone goes out for the second half. Billy comes in laughing and going, "That was all right, wasn't it?" I said, "What do you mean, Billy?" Kicked off. What's happening here? He says, "Listen, no, it was all manufactured. I made that. I need to get the players to play on the edge."
Yeah, that's class.
So it was also when they were coming off the pitch, Billy goes, "Wes, I'm going to go for you. I want you to come back at me. I need you to come back and we need to flipping get these boys sorted." And we won 2-1. And the second half was like chalk and cheese to the first half. And you know when you think about the psychology of thing and no, just little things you pick up. Just little things you pick up. I thought that's brilliant, Billy. I love things like that. Yeah. But the three Scottish managers all had that. Moisey had it as well. He's got that. Don't get on the wrong side of him. You know, you must give everything you've got. If it's a tackle, you have to go and win it, or else he's going to pin you. So, it's getting the best out of everyone, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. I know we're fast forwarding a bit, but Davy Moyes, of course, he was just starting out at Preston. Could you tell then he would be a good manager?
Yeah. He was always going to be a manager. He was always going to be a good manager. He was a player assistant manager at the time or something like that, and straight from the start you could see that he had something about him. And then the manager, I think it was Gary Peters, he left and Moyes took over. He just had that aura about him. Very good coach. He had a few early testers with a guy called Sean Gregan who he had to send off the training ground. But once he sent him off the training ground and sent him home a few times, Moisey won. And all the lads knew that there was only one person leading the place, and it wasn't Sean Gregan. It was the manager, David Moyes. Yeah. So he put everyone in the place early doors, which is what we got to do.
Yeah. And how did you come across Billy to begin with?
He came with again at Preston. I was doing the youth team at Preston. I was doing the kids. I was assistant head of the academy, and Craig Brown became manager. Yeah. In fact, that was when Moisey went to Everton. I think he recommended to the board bring Craig Brown in, who had been the Scottish manager. Yeah. And he brought Billy in with him. Billy I think he just left his job at Motherwell. Yeah, he was. And he got his first job at Motherwell, and he came in. And then when Craig moved on, Billy took over. Yeah, I think it was on an interim. I think we had about 4 or 5 games, and they gave Billy the job. Billy asked me to move up with him straight away. And eventually Billy got the job, and he moved us up permanent. He had a guy called David Kelly, who was mates with. I think they were at Sheffield United together at one stage. So he came in assistant manager, and then he had me as first team coach. And very, very good, excellent. That year we got to the playoff final in the Championship, when it was at Cardiff. Got beat by West Ham. Bobby Zamora beat us. Yeah. And then the year after, playoff semi-finals this time, and we got beat by Leeds. Rob Hulse scored 2 goals. In fact, Brett Ormerod was playing for us at the time. He broke his leg that game, and there was the electrics went off, so there was about a half-hour delay. So just, things happen for you. You think this isn't going to be our day here. We need to try and get a bit of momentum here and what have you. And all of a sudden you're ready to go again. Second half, floodlights go out, and we're having to wait, and it just disrupted everything. So, and then from there went on to Derby.
Yeah. Craig Brown, you gave him your Scotland debut, didn't you?
He did, yeah. Craig, lovely man.
Oh, he was, yeah. I mean, he had some stories. He lived a life.
Oh, did he? I mean, he lived a life nobody ever thought he lived. You know what I mean?
Totally, yeah. But really was respected in Scotland.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he one of the only managed to get him to. Did he get to 2 or 3 World Cups on the trot or something like that?
No, Andy Roxburgh did before him, but Craig got to 98, and he got to the Euros in 96 as well. Yeah. But this is a good guy, a gentleman, top, and a good coach. Yeah, real good coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was top class. See, Coventry, obviously you were mentioning the TV and all that. Sky just sort of launched. So did it feel big when you were there? Obviously playing the Premier League to begin with, but
it's nothing like it is now. Yeah. Now it's all encompassing. It just takes over everything. Sky is everywhere, and it's all Premier League. So it wasn't quite as big as it is now at the time, but it was, like I say, it was something new. And at the time, not everyone had Sky.
No. I think there's one person on my street had Sky.
Everything. Yeah. So everyone just watched Match of the Day still, but but say the publicity you got from being in the Premier League, and it was great. Listen, as a young kid like everyone else, I wanted to get the little stickers, the Panini sticker books and all that. So did the Premier League ones and the World Cups one and all that. I was always, I want to be on. I want to go down a little Panini sticker book, and I did it at Coventry. It was great. But listen, I was everyone's swaps because no one wanted us really. So I swapped me flipping 10 Julian Darbies for one of Dion Dublin or something like that. So no, but it was great. They're great, and there's still people come with them now. Can you sign this? I think I'm got hold of them now. Yeah. So that was really good.
Yeah. And Premier League, the sort of quality we're going up against, you mentioned earlier, playing Man United, but going up against these boys, do you come up against some good players, I'd imagine? Yeah.
Same made debut against Paul Ince. I remember it was, we played United at home, Ivor Road, and he was he was injured, and you seen whether he could play. He was on his fitness test, and he played. So I played against him and Mark Hughes and what have you. Although I played against them when I was at Bolton. We played United in the FA Cup one year, and we got done 1-0 with I think Mark Hughes shinned one from the edge of the box, a volley into the bottom corner, and we got done 1-0. But to play them week in, week out, I think the first victory I had was against Arsenal with the Ian Wrights and all those players. It was just every week, there's, that's such a body, oh God, there's such a body. But it was great to pitch your wits against them. You see, on our team, eventually, by the time I'd left, we had
good players in the company.
Dion Dublin. Yeah. What a good player. How underrated was he? He was fantastic. But by the way, he wasn't a natural, he didn't half work at his game. I think he started at Cambridge as a young lad. He went to United, and from what I hear, he worked his socks off at United on his game, his touch and finishing and everything like that. And when he came to us, you could see he was a leader as well, leader of Mendion. And a really, really nice guy. Some really, really talented players, bags of pace and skill.
Yeah. Peter Unlove as well, was there?
That's right. Yeah, Peter Unlove, Roy Wegley, Mickey Quinn. Yeah. By the way, I say to the lads now, he toe poked the ball more than he actually hit the ball properly, and the number of goals he used to score with toe pokes was incredible. From inside the box.
Because he wouldn't let the keeper get set.
That's what I say to the boys
take them
now.
By surprise.
There you go, the striker coach. There you go. Yeah. So keepers, they want you to put foot at the side of the ball, raise your foot and hit it. No, if you do a toe poke, the ball's past you. They can't set. The ball's past them by the time they can. I always say that's the sign for a really good striker.
Yep.
A toe poke goal. Just a natural finisher.
Yeah. And using defenders as a screen rather than let the keeper get a sight of the ball.
Yeah. And you can hit it hard. He could hit it with his neck. He used to toe poke.
And accurate as well.
Bullets. Yeah. No, but good players. Phil Bash. He went to the World Cup. Yeah.
Usually when you think Tobash is growing up, you just Tobash that. I mean, that's not proper straight. But it's an art, isn't it? It's a skill.
It is a skill.
Up in Scotland, Julian, if somebody can't kick the ball properly and that, it'd be a toe basher.
A toe basher, right? Okay, a toe basher. Listen, I get to know some of these Scottish Twitter. Listen, I get to know a few of them.
Yeah, that's nuts. So at Coventry, then you left and you go to West Brom, didn't you?
West Brom, yeah. They were in the Championship at the time. They were on a bit of a. They started off the season quite well. And then they were hit a rocky patch, and then they brought us in, and nothing changed. Nothing changed. I remember the first game. It was local derby against Wolves, so that was good. That was hairy, gets you going.
Yeah.
But it was it's a really, really good club, big club, big club in the Midlands there.
Yeah.
I remember playing centre half against Bolton against you and. Nathan Blake.
Blakey.
It was a year that you absolutely humped everyone in the league. And,
Blakey scored in that game, didn't he?
Sorry?
Blakey scored in that game.
Yeah, he probably did, yeah. Yeah, I think he did. I can't. Did you score?
No, he scored.
He scored. It was 2-2.
Was it 2-2?
It was 2-2.
No,
yeah, I remember.
I think they had a 1-0 game that season. We beat his 1-0.
Right.
I think.
Oh no, it was at the Hawthorns, and I thought. I just wanted to be chasing Nathan Blake and John because I was playing centre half that day. It was the only time I ever played against Bolton as a player. And I had a chance to smash Blakey on the halfway line. And I did it, and he went down injured and all that. And I remember, all it was, sometimes you have to get the crowd going.
Yeah.
And listen, you're playing top of the league, you're absolutely humping everyone. So I had an opportunity on the halfway line. It's different now because you might get sending off or something. So I just smashed him on the halfway line. And I took the yellow card. This was about 10-15 minutes into the game. just to try and get the crowd going. And all of a sudden the crowd, they're up for it. And it gives a bit of a G up, I think. I think you were winning 2-1, and Branny pushed Paul Pescalino, was a pin in the backside. He pushed him over and gave a penalty for no reason, and we scored for the penalty. So that was it, 2-2 against Bolton. The only time I played against them.
Yeah, it was. See, when you went there, was it Big Ron Atkinson that came in at Coventry? Did he sell you at the time? Yeah, he did. Big Ron came in. I think I think we'd had a new chairman. I can't remember his called now. It might have been someone called Richardson, something like that. He was his mate. And Big Ron started. All of a sudden, he started spending £1 million, £2 million on players. I think I cost 200 grand or 250, and he brought players in. I called Paul Telfer, who played in midfield. Played for Scotland as well.
That's right. Yeah, Paul Williams, another midfielder defender. Oh, he brought all these players in. Gordon Strachan came in with him. So my time was going to be up soon. So I had 2 years. The end of my second year, I didn't play for Ron when he first came in, and then last game. There's another little story. Here we go. So we play next to last game of season, and we are struggling. The game before, we played Ipswich, who were already down, and everyone thought, we'll beat Ipswich and we'll be all right then because we just needed one win. And we get beat at Ipswich, so panic stations. So we played Tottenham away, White Hart Lane, and I've never been to Tottenham, and it was one of the ones I'd always wanted to go with the Jumbotron cameras. Brilliant. All right, I love all that. So it was a lovely stadium. But Mick Brown, who was the number 2 to Phil Neal, he was at Coventry with us because he was number 2 to Big Ron, and he says, "Listen, you're playing on wherever it was, Tuesday. You're playing Tuesday against Tottenham." Thought, right, okay, and I hadn't played under Ron before, and so we go down to Tottenham the day before, and we go down to training. Was it the morning of the match? I think it was the morning of the match. Just to break the ice, we turn up at Epping Forest, I think we're at, and it's Rod Stewart's house. So we turn at one of Rod Stewart's houses. So we turn up there in the big bus, and we're going to train on his pitch because he got at the bottom of his. So we went down there and we trained on it, and everyone's like, "Wow!" I think he was in LA or something at the time, but all his staff were there that looked after the house. But we went to Rod Stewart's house. Wow, what's going on here? I'm John Rod Stewart now. But wow, so we had a full-size pitch at the bottom of his house. So we went on, trained on there, and did your set pieces and your little bits. And it just brought the ice. It took your mind off the game because it was a big game. And then we went to the game at night, and we won 3-0. I think it was 3-0, 3-1. And I played well. I'd done really well. And so I played the last game. That would have been 95. It was a year that Everton got to the FA Cup final. We had Everton,
Man United they played, didn't they?
We had Everton last game of the season at Highfield Road. And we drew 0-0 in that one, so I only played the last 2 games that season under Ron Atkinson. But we won 1, we drew 1. So no, it was good going to Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart's house.
You can't say that. Not many people can say that. You mentioned another ground that's not there anymore, Highfield Road. Was that good to play at down there?
Yeah, it was one of them. It was like an all-season. It was really compact and just outside the city centre. Yeah, it was a nice little stadium. I mean, Coventry, what do they get? They get 20,000 every week. I think something like a 25,000 seater stadium. But it was nice. It was nice. Nothing like this. But it was nice for Coventry for what they had.
Did you ever play there?
Yes. Yep, played there. It was a decent ground, like you said. It was tight. You were on top. The fans were on top of you on the pitch and that. Always a good atmosphere.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Really good.
And your time at Preston, did you enjoy playing up there?
Yeah, I didn't really play too much at Preston. That's the other side. That started my coaching side off.
Did you always want to be a coach then, Jules, or did it just sort of hit you?
Well, you get to your 30s and you talk about contract. Oh no, you're too old for 2 years. Oh, we'll give you a year. So I think so you're scrambling around at the end of your career and all that. So I thought, right, well, what have I done? All I've done is play football. So I thought, right, and I've played in every position. I'll try and stay in football if I can, because it's a fantastic game. Love the game. Felt as though I had something to give back. So I started taking my I started down here under nines. Mm-hmm. My lad was with the under nines. I used to go take him training at the academy, and watch training. I'm thinking, right. So I just asked if I could join. If I could help out and join in, and so eventually I started taking the under nines with a guy called Pete Allman, mm-hmm. And then that went to under 10s, that went to under 11s, mm-hmm. and at that time I was coaching at Preston with the youth team, mm-hmm. And that's it. From there, from youth team, I went to the first team, and then back to youth teams again. Mm-hmm. So I've done the full circle, really.
Yeah, and the playing side of things, I mean, you went to Carlisle and ended your career.
Yeah, that's what probably killed us off, that, yeah.
Were you ready to hang up the boots at that point? Or
that was just getting there and back. I know it was
a trick,
2 hours.
It?
Oh, it is, yeah. And we were bottom of the league, of League Two, for most of that season. Mm-hmm. And we got out of it last minute again there. Mm-hmm. But just the training we used to do and the way that the manager wanted us to play, it was just get the ball and just crash it down the line as far as you can, and we'll have people run after it, and it was just.
Who was the manager, Jules?
Sorry?
Who was the manager at the time?
A guy called Ian Atkins.
Yeah. At Shrewsbury, I think he was at Shrewsbury.
Yeah, he was,
yeah.
Yeah. No, he was manager at the time, and didn't really enjoy it too much. Luckily enough, I had someone to go to travel up with. Matt Winstanley was there again.
Yeah.
Didsy was there for a while. Yeah. He came up with us. And there was a lad who picked up at Ian Stevens, used to be here.
Yes.
We picked him up at Lancaster on the way up. But no, after a year there, I think that would have been 1999 to 2000 something. It was a year that Preston played Bolton at Cardiff in the final. So I left there,
and then I scored in that game. What was that, 2006 or something like that?
No, it was the first one before that.
Yeah, it was at Cardiff, wasn't it? And we beat them 3-0, 4-0. Big Sam was manager, wasn't he?
Well, it might have been the one he scored in. Well, he scored. It was 3-0, wasn't it, when he scored Ricardo? 3-0. Preston.
Yeah, no. It might have been then. Yeah, was it about 2000 that?
2002.
Yeah, it might have been then. Yeah.
2001.
Might have been, because that's when I listened. I went into Preston with they were doing something with the youth side, youth setup, and Moisey said, "Yeah, come give me a hand." So I stayed in the game, which was after
2001. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Good knowledge like that.
Yeah.
I can see the cogs turning there.
I think the point is, I was going to say there, you've just named some right good players there, yourself included, at Carlisle. I'm just trying to fathom how they were bottom of the league. But the other side of it is you were all at the top end of your career by that time, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think it was about 32 at the time, something like that. So, and there's quite a few of us who were getting on. Ian Stevens was older than me. He was a year or two older than me, so he was like at the end of his career. Matt Winstanley was the same age as me. He was apprentice with me. So it just wasn't really enjoyable that year.
Sounded like the way they played wasn't enjoyable.
Yeah.
Direct.
Yeah.
Bypassing midfielders, etc.
Yeah.
Chasing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you have any offers after that, Jules, to go to your...
Not really, no.
No.
No. There was something at Ratcliffe Borough that they were going to do. I'm thinking, no disrespect, but I want to stay in the league if I can.
Yeah.
And then Moisey said, "Oh, we're doing this with the youth team, and we need someone else. Do you want to come in?" Mm-hmm. You know, obviously you have to slash your wages to firstly listen down off. I'll do it. I just want to stay involved and get in there, and let's see where I can go from taking the under 18s.
Yeah. In terms of your playing career, who was the best player you played alongside? Excusing this fact.
Listen, right up there with the best strikers. Yeah. Unbelievable. Listen, how many goals you score for the club at the end? Always liable to score.
Uh-huh.
And personality. Personality. If he was in the penalty box, he'd score a goal.
Yeah. And
listen, I was so glad that when he scored those goals, the last game at Burnden, the Charlton game, because he deserved that. Mm-hmm. He deserved that. And that was a great night, wasn't it?
Oh. Emotional night, wasn't it?
Listen, couldn't get it better.
It was everything, wasn't it? To see I keep saying to see the likes of Sir Nat and all that 58 team and everyone walking around the pitch with tears in their eyes, and it meant so much to people, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was on with all the heroes from yesteryear as well. No, it wasn't much. Did it rain that night? I don't think whether.
It had rained earlier on. I think it was quite. The pitch was nice. Yeah. Actually, it was nice to play on the night, but. Just one of them, I think everybody had built it up so much as well because it was the last game, because it was when it was on Sky and everyone else, you know what I mean? And Charlton obviously scored that good goal, didn't they? Was it Mark Kinsella? I think it was.
It was, yeah.
1-0 at half time, and the second half the boys came out and put it right. But yeah, it was an emotional night.
And say you and Andy Walker up front. Wow, that was a pairing.
Yeah,
that was good. That was a good pairing. There's goals galore there, and you know that what they do is they put shift in and put themselves about. And if the ball comes in the box, it's a goal.
Yeah, it's good, I guess, as players to know that there's two sort of predators up there that are going to do the business, isn't it? If you've got that.
Yeah, listen, they win or lose you the game. Yeah, these strikers. That's why they get paid the most.
I don't think that's true. I could show you my wage slips I tell you.
No, it's a niche position, and no, they were good at the time. They say Dion and all these players. I was been lucky to play with some really good players.
Yeah,
really good players.
And you played for some good clubs as well.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, listen, I was really fortunate. Fortunate. Yeah,
fantastic career. Some real good clubs.
Yeah. See, before we'll talk about obviously the time you had in charge of the first team here. You were at Leeds for a wee bit. Did you? Was that when Chilino was it? Was it Chilino was the owner?
Yeah, he was the owner there. He was the owner at the time. He was a bit of a character.
Madcap, wasn't he?
Oh my goodness! Depends what day it was as to what happened on that day. Yeah. When I was at Forest with Billy, we also had a guy called Rob Kelly, who stayed from the previous regime, and so he lives in Clitheroe. So I used to travel with him quite a bit. So when we left Forest, he was friendly with Uwe Rosler.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of it's who you know in football. Yeah. A lot of it is who you know. You have to know people.
Yeah.
So he's friend with Uwe Rosler. Uwe Rosler gets a Leeds job, and he takes Rob with him as assistant. Then all of a sudden, I get in touch with Rob saying, congratulations, flipping, where'd that come from? Because it came right out of the blue. He says, oh yeah, we're looking for a first team coach. I'll have a word with Uwe and you can have a go over and see him. So that happened. I met him at, I think he lived in Bramhall or something, Uwe. German.
Yeah.
But a really nice guy. And he's had a fantastic career as well, playing wise and as the man. I think he's still in Denmark doing really well now. He's in Denmark somewhere. But we went into Leeds. And well, you need the Leeds support. Wow, that was passionate, unbelievable. Yeah, I mean pre-season we went to Austria, went to middle of nowhere really, and we played a game, just in on a village pitch. We played Eintracht Frankfurt, believe it or not, and we're in the change room. It was like playing at Leaving Park. In the change room, and all you could hear was Gino. And you're thinking, what's going on here? I'm there outside, and there must have been about 4,000 Leaf fans gone over, and some of them were lunatics as well because they're out for a weekend away in Austria, and then you hear that a coach load of the Eintracht Frankfurt ultras were turning up.
Good.
Oh, that got lively.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Oh my God! Wow. And then there was another story of Leeds had never played at MK Dons. MK Dons were in the same division. I think they'd just been promoted. So 10,000 Leeds fans turn up at MK Dons, and they were everywhere because they'd never been there before. So it was a new stadium, like people do. They want to go and visit all the stadiums if they can. So that was something you don't forget. But that didn't last too long. It only lasted 5-6 months, and then Mr. Chilino pulled the trigger again, and they brought Steve Evans in after us.
Yeah.
Right.
Rather strangely, but
no,
listen, things come to an end. It's going to happen at some stage, so you get on with it.
Yeah, and your time here, of course, when the call comes, you're working in the academy, and then
I was doing the under 13s to under 16s to start with, working with the schoolboys. Listen, that's hard work. Fair play to the guys over there. It's a shift. And these guys who normally work there, they they have a full-time job, then they come in there at night and they work until whatever it is, 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
I think
dedication.
Yeah, and then Sundays there's games, so they don't even get a Sunday off. So you take your hats off to these guys, because that's hard work. As it was, I was just full-time, just looking after, like, taking charge of the 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s. So I had to look after these coaches along with all the kids as well, which it was enjoyable. It was a great way in, and good grounding as well for what comes after.
The call comes to take over the first team. Do you have to think about that one?
No, not really, no. Did I ever think it was going to happen? No, I didn't really. I remember the Wednesday, I got a phone call from Chris Markham and said, Ian's gone, can we have a meeting? There's you, Andy Taylor, can we meet at the hotel at 11 o'clock or something like that. So we turn up and we have a meeting and say, I want you to take over. My heart's churning at the minute. It's like my stomach's like going round and round. Oh, blimey, what's going on here? And then thinking, right, who've we got? Oh, God, it's Huddersfield away. Right, who's playing? Oh, Rico's injured, Toll is injured, and all these are injured. I think, oh, okay, all right, here we go. And everyone's saying, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the result. It doesn't matter. It does matter.
Of course it does.
It does matter. Listen, this is my... I don't care. No one can say that it doesn't. That an actual result doesn't matter, because it does. Whether it's just your own personal pride or listen, you played for 3 points at the end of the day, and we were still there or thereabouts.
Yeah.
In with a shout. So it did matter. And all sorts of things start going through your head, and you start writing everyone's name down on a piece of paper. Who can play? Who can't play? And formations and all sorts. But I couldn't ask for, the weeks ago any better than what it did.
Yeah.
It was transforming, really. And so emotional. Oh, God, I'm going again. Every time, honestly, it's just that week has done me. It really has done me. But just so proud for, not just myself, but for family, friends. So my eldest lad, Jamie, he said that's the one I always he wanted me to do, because when you have kids and you're a player, they're too young to remember who you did or what you did. And so I had the opportunity here as dad and granddad. Like, my kids are growing up now. It's like my youngest lad's over in Australia. He's 29 somewhere, and he was up at 3 o'clock wherever it were and watching the game. Then my daughter wanted to turn up a few hours before the game. She said, "Oh, can you get us a ticket?" "No, all the tickets are gone." So she didn't go. So she wanted to go. She came for the Northampton game, but Jamie managed to get tickets in the director's box with his wife Liv and little Bobby. So
he was sat just in front of us.
Were they?
Yeah.
I should have told Jamie to behave himself, because he was a bit of a lunatic, really. But
he was jumping about in the.
Listen, I don't care in the director. Listen, this is his team.
And that's it.
It's an emotional game.
Absolutely.
And he's supporting his team, and he's supporting his dad.
Yeah.
So that was it was just something that happened. And I thought, well, did it pass my head about the Bobby thing at the end of the game? Oh, it must have done at some stage, otherwise why would I have done it? But I'm thinking, that's if we win, we're going to win. So I didn't think about it. And then Carlos scores, and it could have been 3 in the end. 3 or 4 actually, and the lads were terrific, absolutely brilliant. I can't praise them enough.
I was going to say that. Did you have to pick them up because it was a bit of upheaval for them as well?
I don't know. There was an awful lot of negativity around the club at the time, and I think that I took it off their shoulders a little bit when Ian. I don't know, but they came out and straight from the start. I mean, Will Forrester hadn't played a great deal, but he was like a man mountain. He had flipping John on next to him who was smashing Dion all over the place. Oh, great! I love that. And then you had who were playing on the other side. Oh, it was Sabby. He was honestly, he smashed someone, and at the time I thought, right, I'll just let him get on. But Tomo came over as captain. And he said, listen. He said to Andy Taylor, listen, you better get him off, because he does this every game, and he's liable to get sent off here. So I had to get him off straight away, and we stick Who was it? It was stuck 2-1.
Yeah.
All right. So that happened, and it just everything that happened worked.
Yeah.
One of them days where you get some where things work, sometimes they don't work, and everything worked and everything went great. So we win the game. I go on, shake hands with everyone, and I look up and I think, right, yeah, let's do it.
Uh-huh.
So before I knew I could get to the director's box up the side of the dugout, because I'd done it before the game. I was talking to our Jamie, so I went up there, grabbed him, and I go on the pitch, and he's thinking, what's going on here? He had his green strip on like the lads and all that, which was great. What people couldn't see was that he filled his nappy, hadn't he? In 85 minutes, and didn't have time to go and he was stinking. He was stinking. Listen, probably you were listening in a few years' time when he hears this, and he'll get a bit embarrassed and what have you. But no, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But he was on the pitch, and I was pointing at them, and he was like oblivious to everything because it would have passed him. But the pictures and the video footage and everything there, hopefully, it will be something that he'll always remember.
Yeah.
What went on that day?
Yeah, he'll grow up and he'll look back fondly on the money. It'll be.
Yeah.
Then of course you take that game, but then you take the game here, Northampton as well.
Yeah, Nobby. Yeah, there's another one of our heroes, flipping Nobby. By the way, he's a good player.
Class, wasn't he?
I never realised until I went into the tunnel down there how big he was.
Yeah.
He's about 6'2".
He's a unit.
Yeah,
Yes, but
it
like
must
you
be because he
said,
stood
though,
next to Super Kev, because he didn't look quite as big as Super Kev.
He could play.
Yeah, well, very underrated, but a smart cookie.
Yeah.
Really, really thought about the game, I thought.
Yeah.
You know, some of the positions he used to take up for free kicks where he was in line of view with the keeper. He was probably the first to do that, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, stand in front of the keeper and then move off the last minute. He was a really, really good player. And obviously, you know, one of the heroes that you watched in the Premier League days.
Yeah.
And that went so smoothly as well, flipping this straight away. We have a
it.
corner, and before Andy Taylor had done the set pieces, and he set this one up, and it was to the near post, and it just lay it back to George Thompson. It just worked. Mm-hmm. Just worked like a treat. Mm-hmm. And 1-0, you're thinking, it's easy this, what's going on? And then we couldn't get a ball off them for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And they go and score. And you're thinking, flipping, here we go. It's flipping, this place is a bit cursed. And then we get the lucky break before half time again, and we get an own goal. Mm-hmm. And so we're 2-1 up, and it's a case of seeing the game out a little bit. Mm-hmm. Second half, we struggled to get to our half again. Listen, they were all right then. I thought Northampton. I wanted that game. I thought that we could maybe control the ball a bit better. You know, we're at home, we're the home team. Let's control it. And Josh Sheehan played, but we couldn't get out of our half. Mm-hmm. And then Joe Randall played a great ball, and Collar ran onto it, and he took it inside, and he threw a little dummy and then smashed it in top corner.
Yeah.
Wow, he was on fire at the time. Mm-hmm. And you're thinking, that's it, 3-1, I'll take that, brilliant, and that was it.
Yeah.
And for yourself, Julian, I think to have one game away from home, because that was huge. The
Probably the right way
travelling
around as
support,
well. Yeah.
But if that was going to be your last game, to finish it here, in front of your own fans,
totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's something that, I say, not just myself, all the family will remember and cherish. Yeah. Even now, I can't go anywhere without people thanking us, and that's my phone, by the way. It is on silent, but it's just vibrating and flipping pocket.
It's normally me that gets the blame, Julian.
Alright, it's gone now. But everyone wants to say well done, and I can't, you know, even on match days here, going around the stadium, it takes me forever. Yeah. It takes me forever, because everyone wants a picture taken. And say, when I was a player, I never had that. And you have to be of a certain age to actually remember it anyway. Mm-hmm. And so I could walk around and no one know who the hell I was anyway, but not now. Yeah. And just a week has just changed things unbelievably, really. You know, I'm going to the tip and people stopping for a picture taken. It's,
deservedly so. Deservedly so, because it's like it's a fitting end to you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, the amount of games you played for this football club, what you've put into this football club, not just playing, coaching and everything else, it's a fitting end. It really is.
Yeah. Well, it's a club that I love. Listen, there's thousands of others who do anything to be in my shoes.
Yes.
And I realise how fortunate and privileged I've been to do what I've done. So.
Yeah. Right, and I still enjoy it. Kick-started the season a little bit.
I think you made it a lot easier for Stephen as well coming in, because
Well,
you put a foundation in for him.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, everyone do what they can for the club, because everyone's at the same ilk. They want success for the club. That's obviously what you want. It's a fantastic setting. I mean, you look at that now, and I just hope that very, very soon, hopefully this year, not this year, next year, we do get promoted back to that championship.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's hope you're right. Well, Julian Darby, it's been brilliant having you on. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it actually.
Really enjoyed
it was
that.
good. That was quite. I didn't know podcast. What's a podcast? I was a little bit. I didn't know what to expect, but ended
Post us on Facebook.
I've taught some nonsense and we got through it.
You've
That's
been
good.
brilliant.
Wanderers Way, the official podcast of Bolton Wanderers Football Club in association with iHeat.